by the church anymore. They have separated the church from from the politics. No, including this country. The Queen, who is the head of the church, yes, she is symbolic. She is not really ruling as a prime minister is, making up the laws, sitting in the parliament. That is not her function. Yes, in order for her to be called the head of state, she's still the head of the church. Okay, so in that sense, yes. But what I'm saying is that when you talk about living in harmony with all human beings, fantastic if that was the case. But is it pragmatic? That is a question you need to ask. You heard of the Abrahamic faiths, yes? Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. You heard about it. Now you try to reconcile these three religions with just one person.
That's the problem I have with religion in myself. I'm not personally religious, but I'm saying that you don't have to say that one thing is the only thing. You understand? So like, I feel like we do live in a multicultural society, and actually it is quite a success, to be honest. Like, you're seeing the evidence of it right here, how we can like talk and have this argument, yeah? You understand? Like, I don't see how, because you've decided that one book sounds the truest to you, then someone else who's maybe born in a different place, who would believe in a different book, why are they wrong?
How much of history have you actually taken at uni?
I'm not at uni at the moment.
Okay. Have you heard of a place called...
I'm just commenting on what I see.
Yeah, I know, you're commenting on what you see around, but if you go to history, then you'll understand why what you just said.
I don't think England is really a Christian nation.
My friend, if you let me have a word in between.
I just wanted to...
If you let me finish a point.
Go on.
You see, I listen to you without interrupting you. What I'm saying is that if you had read history, and you look at Islamic history in particular, yes, you heard of a place called Toledo?
In Spain, yeah.
Yeah, in Spain. In this place, Toledo, the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews, yes, they all work together to acquire knowledge. They had universities studied at the same place where they would, in harmony, work together and translate and integrate many of the Greek works, many of the Indian works.
That didn't work. Go on.
And it did work. So under Islamic rule, yes, the harmony did work. Just because you must have...
Islamic rule?
Yes, this was under the Sharia. In fact,
but England isn't under Islamic rule.
But wait, I'm telling you that your principle, that just because one religion says that it's the truth, it doesn't work. Yes, it does work, and it's proven from history. In fact, European history. So what I'm saying is this: if you read the history, then you will understand what you're saying is principally wrong. Yes, you can have one religion claiming to be the right religion, and you can still have harmony.
I don't believe in Christianity either.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying your principle, which you base on, just because
you're saying
it cannot be right.
You're saying my principle is that I'm saying Britain is a Christian country and it's built on Christian values. Whilst that was true, I don't think Britain is Christian anymore.
I didn't say it was.
Well,
what did I tell you? It was secular.
Did I not? On the principle of secular.
Did I not say it was secular?
Yeah,
all the Western countries that you have today have separated the church and the nation. Sorry, the state. Yes, this shows you that these are not religious countries. These are secular countries. Now, let me ask you this. There are many non-religious people, like for example, Dick Chairman Mao, for example. He doesn't believe in God. Yes, he doesn't believe in any religion. He has his own, whatever you say, ideologies or whatever it is. He ended up killing millions of people. Some say 60, some say more than 60 million people. So you go, because he's an
atheist, then he's a murderer and a dictator.
No, I'm telling you.
Come on, that's a bit silly.
I'm just telling you that it doesn't have to be a religion.
That is a contention.
Yes? So for you to mock everything I say, you need to understand what I'm trying to say. This is the second time I've caught you out doing this. Try to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying just because he's an atheist, there are many good atheists. In fact, you don't need to be religious to be a good person. And you're an example of it. Maybe you're, I don't know you well, but you claim to be good.
I try
yes?
to be a good
good. But let me ask you this about good. Do you believe everything you consider good, every other considers as good?
How do you mean, believe?
Whatever you have, your understanding of the term good.
I try and treat people how I would wish to be treated.
Okay,
and
so
that's not a Christian value. I know that's like a Christian cliche and a Christian message.
My friend, I never considered you Christian because you already made it clear. So do not think I'm coming to you from the angle of me believing that you're a Christian. You are someone, maybe agnostic? Atheist?
Yeah, agnostic, atheist, whatever you want. Well, to be fair, not really atheist, because I do believe in, I would say, a spiritual God. I believe, actually, when people describe God, generally they mean the same thing. A connection between people, kind of messages to each other, helping, like advice, trying to help each other.
You're a theist?
What?
A theist?
A theist? Yes. I suppose you could say I'm a theist.
That's fine, doesn't matter. So you don't believe in a particular religion, you don't believe in a major earth.
I just believe in being good to people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, that is subjective. So what might be good to you,
sure,
even in your own ideology, even the people who believe like you, even they might think...
Ask you one question?
Yeah, go on.
Do you believe is that I'm not actually sure. Like, is that part of Islam that women should like cover up their bodies? Is that in the original Quran? I'm asking you. I don't know. So women, they should always save their bodies for like their husbands.
They have to dress modestly.
See, that's a principle that I can see why you would say that. I feel like we were talking earlier, weren't we? Like Western women, like they're far more easy to show their bodies. So like, what is there left? You know, like it feels like that should be saved for the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. You know, I understand that that's a principle I agree with. But then some things like I believe there's some extremist Islamists who take that message way too far and do horrible things like and treat women as if they're dirt.
That is wrong.
Okay, so I'm glad you're saying that.
That is not Islam. You see, one thing is that in Islam, how our faith is defined, how our principles are defined, and how our rulings are defined is very well mentioned within the scriptures, within the literature of Islam. It's not something that people just make up. Yes, there are many people who misinterpret for their own gains, but if you actually question them, then you will understand that these people are not going by the scripture or by the teachings of Islam. They're going by their own whims and desires.
I agree.
Yes, and I think this is the case in most religions. Many people, they misuse a religion and use it as some sort of some sort of a smokescreen to make people believe that they are actually religious, but they are not. Okay, and the same applies to even people who say that we are good. And that's the reason I asked you earlier, who determines what is good? Take abortion, for example. What would you consider abortion as, good or bad?
Wow.
I don't mean in
both sides of it. I can see both sides.
I don't mean in exceptional cases like the case of rape or the case where the mother's life was in danger or something like that. I'm talking about in general understanding of abortion, which is practiced in most parts of the world. Yes, except a few. What would you consider that as, good or bad?
So I see both sides of it. Like I think when you kill, what is human cells, you step on more germs. You step on millions of germs, and you kill that many cells when you step on the ground.
What do you mean human cells?
When you have an abortion,
are you talking about a baby here?
You're killing human cells, right?
Are you talking about a baby?
So I'm saying you could step on a fly, for example, and you kill way more cells than you kill in the human body. But because it's human cells, it's precious, right? I see that argument for it.
I'm not talking about cells. I'm talking about a baby. Why would you
okay, so 14,
somehow trivialize it to cells?
The opinion that I have like the most sympathy for is 14 weeks is when the nervous system, pain is pretty universal. Animals feel pain, like that's universal. That's a sign that you're alive, is pain, right? So when a baby is going to feel pain, I feel like that's life. That's really life.
Sorry, did you say when you have life, you have
I would
pain?
say that if the abortion is going to cause pain, I'd obviously try and avoid it if you can. But if there's, say, like a horrible mutation where they're not going to have a good life, or they're going to live for like 10 years or something, or I don't know, something goes horribly wrong and the mother's going to die if she has the baby, or like in the case of rape, like you said.
I made it clear that in exceptions, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about, generally, the women who have abortion, they have it because maybe it was an unplanned pregnancy. Yes.
The baby got raped, and she.
I think that's an exception.
That does make an
We are not doing an exception, my friend.
But rape is not.
Let's deal with one.
So you think rape's
Let's
not a
deal with
reason
one
to
thing
have
at a
an
time.
abortion?
Let's deal with one thing at a time.
So say what you think about rape.
I agree.
Say what you think about rape.
I agree with you. I'm not saying no. What I'm saying is this: if it's an exception, then that's a different matter. But I'm talking about generally most of the abortions that take place.
Been raped.
A baby's a baby, regardless.
We'll talk about the exceptions later. Is that okay?
No, but you can't. You can't
talk about it later.
I can't say that. If I had a baby inside me, regardless if I planned that baby or if someone defiled me and gave me that baby, that is still a baby. That baby didn't.
I agree with you.
Right. So if I choose to abort that baby or keep that baby, what is good and what is bad from that? That's what you just asked.
What would be your response?
Regardless of
what would be your response? Is abortion good or bad?
But would you put that pressure?
I want to know your answer. As a woman, you will understand this better than us.
I am a Christian woman.
Okay,
so I would choose to keep the baby because that's my Christian belief.
Because you think it is wrong?
No, I didn't say it was wrong. You asked me what I would do.
No, but why would your faith say something?
Because I believe my Jesus would see me through. That was something that happened, and there can be something beautiful from that.
So if there was no specific verse in the Bible which says do not abort.
I'm not quote the Bible.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm asking you a question. Listen to me. If there is no verse in the Bible, or even something that is indirectly alluding to an abortion. There's no mention of abortion.
But in abortion,
Let me finish the question. Why you guys always interrupt?
Can I ask
If
you
you
one
don't, if you don't, how will I finish if you don't let me?
Do you think
the question
a
is very
woman's
simple.
pressured
If
into
there is
having
no,
a baby if she was raped?
my friend, can I finish one thing? I know
It's
you're
a simple question. You don't want to
I know,
answer
but
it. You don't want to answer it. It's
there
a
you go
fact.
again. Emotional.
Like, so do you? No. Do
Can you
think,
please calm down? Have respect for the lady.
Go.
I was finishing a topic with her, and then I'll come back to you. Calm down. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: if there is no specific or even ambiguous verse in the Bible about abortion, then would you consider it wrong?
I haven't read that. What does it say?
If there is no specific or even ambiguous verse pertaining to abortion,
there is.
I'm saying if not, it's a hypothetical question.
Yeah, okay.
If not, then would you consider it wrong?
If someone's going to have an abortion. Again, it comes to circumstance. It does come to circumstance. It's all about a person.
But earlier she said, any circumstance is still a baby.
You said a baby's a baby.
Exactly.
So are you saying
Exactly.
to me now, so if you were raped, would you keep the baby? You said a baby's a baby.
Do you think they should
I'm
keep
a
it?
Christian. That's the difference. You're
I-
taking the
I think-
religion out of it.
I think
You
it
just
depends
told
on.
me to take
I think it
religion out of
depends on
it. So then-
circumstance. You have to deal with it one at a time.
Right.
But one minute you're saying a baby's a baby, then the next minute you're saying that
circumstance.
a complete different thing. So
No, I
you're not
didn't say
staying.
that.
It's not
Actually,
what you're saying.
he
Your
said
point
it.
is not valid.
He said it, but I don't know if you agreed with him.
No, I did.
So you think
asked
someone
me
should
to
keep
take
a baby if
religion
they're
I'm
out
just
of it.
raped?
jumping in her. I'm just jumping in her little
So you
argument that's
asked
wrong
me to
here.
take religion out of it.
Yes,
You just
that's
said
right.
hypothetically.
Yes.
Then it's
Let's take religion out of it, okay.
Everyone is a human being, so it's a circumstance.
So what
So
circumstance?
have religion as a grounding for yourself, and it's a circumstance.
Fair enough.
you
Fair.
live
What
day to
circumstance?
day.
Sorry. What circumstance would you agree that it is okay to carry out an abortion?
A rape.
A rape. Okay. One. Anything else?
I think that's the only.
What about the life of the mother in danger?
What do you think?
Yeah,
Okay,
life in danger,
good.
baby's life.
What
in
about an
danger.
unplanned pregnancy?
No.
There you go. So I got the answer now. Now I ask you the same question.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
What
Actually, you
about-
did
so
already.
do you-
Many.
Yeah, but you haven't answered it.
Which
So
one did I
what
not
do you-
answer?
Do you think?
Wait. Which question did I not answer? You just made an accusation.
I'm trying to
Sorry,
ask you
just
it again.
didn't say that.
No, you said I haven't
Can I
answered
ask-
something in the past.
Can I ask
Which question did I not answer?
Are you going to let me talk?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Because you made an accusation. I want to know which one it
Not
is.
that accusation.
Right, ready? Okay. If a woman has been raped, yeah, it's not her fault, is it?
It's not.
So do you think she should keep the baby?
I think in that circumstance, she has the right to say whether to keep it or not. It's up to her.
Thank you. That's what I agree with. I wanted to make sure that you didn't think she had to keep the baby because that would be horrible.
So
I
now
think
that we
everyone
have,
would say that
so
would
now
be
we have
horrible.
established. I answer your question.
Good.
Now answer my question. Earlier, you went on about explaining what abortion is and so on, 14 weeks and all that. You see, that wasn't my question. All I asked you was, is it good or is it bad to have an abortion in a circumstance? Sorry, in a circumstance which is
You
not.
have to decide.
Let me finish the question so you
Sorry.
understand. In a case which is not exceptional, like we discussed, in the case of rape or in the case of where the mother's life was in danger. I'm talking about an unplanned pregnancy where there is no danger to the mother or the child, yes, but because those parents have decided that they don't want to have a baby right now for whatever reasons, do you think it is wrong of them to abort at the 14th week when it is legal? When the complete baby is fully formed, every limb.
I would say before 14. I've heard that the nervous system develops at 14 weeks. So
You know it's legal. 14
pain
weeks is
is
legal.
around the point where I would say before the nervous system, I would say, yeah, you can do it. You know, I think, you know, if you're not going to give a kid a good life, if they're actually ultimately going to suffer more because you've had a kid, because you can't look after them, then sure, you should abort them.
Oh, so you haven't heard of orphanages?
Sorry?
You haven't heard of places where they take care of babies? If you don't want them?
You can't then say he's.
You see, there are other.
Is that a better
You
life?
can't say he's.
How do you know? Maybe they have a chance to life.
You ask the question. You can't.
You see,
now say-
imagine if someone was an Einstein and you nipped it in the bud, in the belly of the mother. Do you really think it's going to benefit the human race?
Can't take somebody's chance away, can you?
Not only that, this life that you are willing to terminate, yes, because of some selfish parents, this life is a life after all. Whether you call it nervous system or not, I don't know if you've seen a baby at 14 weeks. And by the way, 14 weeks is legal in this country.
Yeah.
Yes, 14 weeks.
Like 26.
Not only is fully formed baby in the sense that when you look at it, you will think that is a human baby, no doubt. Yes, that child can not only eat and breathe and move about in the belly of the mother.
It
Yes,
can't eat or
it
breathe,
has.
it's in fluid. It can't do either of those.
That doesn't mean it's not life.
I
You see what I mean?
I agree,
I'm
like
not
it is a
saying
human,
you
and I
can't
think abortion's a really difficult thing.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked you, because earlier you were saying why can't everybody be good? You see how difficult it is just to define what is good. That is the point I wanted to tell you, that anyone can say good, but when you question them what is good,
I would say that you can still do good with whether you say you believe in a Christian book, any book.
I never denied that.
So was he
I never
saying
denied that.
Well, you were
But when
saying
it comes,
you were saying to that other guy that his book
no,
was not right.
No,
and that,
he didn't
like,
tell me what the book was. The guy wouldn't tell me what his book was. Exactly. The reason I was grilling him is because he wanted to know everything about Islam. But when I turned the table on him, he wanted to remain
But
all
he
this.
wasn't Christian. He just
I didn't say he was Christian.
No. He said he didn't know what the book was. I don't understand.
Yeah, he didn't want to say. But anyway, he kept telling me it's not for you. I don't know what that means. But anyway, what I'm trying to tell you, the main thing I'm trying to tell you is that in your understanding of what is good and bad, yes, you as a person who do not believe in a scripture, or who do not believe that God gave us scripture as a guidance, yes, it will be very difficult for you to understand morality and objective morality, to understand what is good and bad without having these kind of discussions back and
But
forth, and then coming to a...
there's a lot more people in the world than are Islamic.
I didn't say that one.
So are they all not moral?
I never said that.
But you are saying they have less of a chance of being moral.
What I'm saying is that if they do not follow a certain religion, then they will be following their own desires.
Then you just said Islam.
Do you understand what I mean?
So therefore have less of a
Yeah,
chance
so
of
when
being
you
morally
when
good.
you when you follow your own desires, then you're going to interpret it the way you want or what is good for you, and you will consider it bad for everyone else, because this is what desires do to you. This is a human limitation, and that's the reason. You know, when God sends us on this earth, yes, He did not send you without any guidance, without any leader, without any sort of.
When I see young people,
teacher.
I see young people, and they're not tied to one particular religion. Most young people I see don't really care about the idea of God.
And do you know what happens to them?
And they don't,
Many
well,
of them?
they do care about the idea of God. I think they do care about being spiritual and perhaps being good to other people, but I don't think they go around like preaching an idea of religion like some older people do.
You know,
and I would say that you have to go with the majority. The majority of the world is not Islamic.
I didn't say it was.
Probably the majority of the world is like agnostic.
I think you're missing the point I'm making. What I'm saying is that you as a person, if you're going to use
That's the thing. That's like every religion, isn't it? Like they believe
If you're going to use
is a
agnostic-
God, but like
As
they'll disagree with who that God is. Like, surely why can't it just be the same one?
Okay, let me ask you this. Someone who doesn't believe in God, someone who doesn't have a guidance as a scripture or a teacher, a moral teacher.
Why is
that
there
they're
no
looking
guidance?
for-
Why are you saying there's no guidance? Guidance is like looking in front of you, seeing how to be good to
You didn't let
people.
me finish
not
again.
objective.
I was going to explain to you.
What do you mean?
That's okay. I think we're on the same sort of page.
Yeah, you're a Christian, so
Yeah.
you'll probably come from the
The
same.
thing is that you don't have an objective justification, a logically coherent, objective standard from which
Why?
to appeal to.
Why not?
Where is it?
Why?
Where is it?
I-
Who then, if the individual is there for setting out their own
Because
morality?
we're there for each other. No, it's not. Why are you saying that if you're not religious, you're suddenly just your own person, and then you can't, like, you're just like a fish on the
I
beach?
never said that. I
like,
never
come
said
on.
that.
Like,
I'm saying you don't have an objective
mate,
standard
you
of
can
morality
see.
from which to
Yes,
appeal
you
to.
do, because you can
What is
see
that?
other people,
I wouldn't
and
call that
you see
objective.
other people,
That's
and you
not
realise
objective.
how to live your life.
That is
Mate, we're
objective.
humans. We are
That is
humans. We're
objective.
fundamentally animals, right? But we got like a bit more power because we were able to consider our own existence. That's
You
where your
mean to be
objective
like-
morality comes
Wow.
from.
That's not objective morality.
Sorry, I don't mean to demean you, but
hang on.
this is exactly what
I
you're
don't know,
trying
like,
to
I feel like if you say like the history of this book, like this story, these collection of like stories from history, from any book, I think that's
Is a load of rubbish.
why are you so like why are you so keen to not change your
No, but here's what I'm saying.
outlook?
Here's what I'm saying. If you say every human being on the world can observe around them and then make some sort of moral outcome from that, that's still not objective, despite everyone being able to do that. Why?
Yes,
Because
why?
people can come to their own subjective conclusions about their observation,
Which is a desire.
which is I could observe the same thing as you and come to my own subjective conclusion about it, and I could say that's good.
Yeah,
you say
but
that's
then
bad.
how you act upon that is actually ultimately your choice. People do stupid things in the name of religion,
No, but
and
how
they
you-
do
how you
stupid
gonna
things
prevent
not
them
in
from-
religion.
No, but they have a logical justification for what they could do.
Well, okay, right. So you're saying your logical justification is a choice that comes from a book. How's that logical?
Okay, wait. If we say that a book is divinely inspired, be it the Quran or the Bible, whatever.
But I'm not. That's what I'm not saying.
I know you don't have to say that, but I'm saying, but if you stick within that position, then you don't have an objective justification for morality.
All right, fair enough.
Especially
Well, I'm
when
happy
you-
anyway, so.
I mean, no, but happiness
It's not
doesn't
about
mean
happiness.
meaning.
Look,
It's about
It
meaning.
is,
person-
though. I think it is.
A
to be
person who
honest.
takes drugs is happy.
No,
Yes?
they're not.
Well, they say they are. Like you might deny it, but they say they are.
I mean, I took drugs for a long time. I don't think that made me happy, to be honest. That's
It
why I
made you happy?
Because it didn't make me happy.
Okay, how long did you take it for?
Like 5 years.
Wow. So for 5 years you didn't realize that you were not happy. It took you that long to stop.
No, like towards the end of it, I started to think like, oh, I'm actually no, this isn't making me happy. Like the way I'm leading my life is not happy.
Yeah, but why did it take you 5 years?
I came to my own conclusion about actually this is not helping me.
Okay. You see, that is a good example using drugs as well. So abortion is one, drugs is another thing. You for 5 years must have justified it. I'm sure you must have. When you were a druggist, when you were taking drugs, you must have justified that it was right. Despite of what your parents told you, despite of what your teachers told you.
I think, to be honest, a lot of times I knew it wasn't right, but I still did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You see, that is the crux of the matter. If something that you thought was right, yes, for that long, and you try to justify it to yourself, then there must be something.
But people get addicted to alcohol.
Wait a minute, it's not only.
They still think like
my
that's
friend,
not right.
It's not only about addiction.
It's called a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so you're telling me
alcohol is part of it, and you still get alcoholics who are unhappy.
yeah, but good thing you didn't say Islam.
you're saying like you should.
Islam nips it in the bud, and that is the beauty of Islam.
Your human desires.
Islam doesn't give you even a foothold for you to become an alcoholic.
But then, if in Islam people don't follow everything from it,
Then they are sinners. I don't say there are no alcoholics in Islam. Of course, in the Islamic world, which is like 52, 57 countries, yes, there are lots of people who do sin, who do fornicate, who do abortions even, who consume alcohol and drugs. Look, I'm not saying that there is no share of black sheep within the Muslim community. Of course there is. Yes. Are they Muslims? Yes, they are. If they do not commit shirk, they are considered Muslims. Are they sinners? Yes, they are. And there is consequences. It's not like just because they are Muslim, they go scot-free. Just because, like in Christianity, I don't know how you believe, maybe most Christians that I spoke to, that if they do all these vices, all these wrongs, yes, they are forgiven.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, but you see, this is not how Islam works. In Islam, there's consequences. The child, the son is not accountable for the sins of the father, and the father is not accountable for the sins of the son. So we are took everyone is accountable.
No, that's not true. That's not true. If you do not believe in your heart and you do not repent with a clean heart, you are not forgiven.
Oh, so you still ask for forgiveness?
Yes, you have to ask for forgiveness. That doesn't mean that it's given.
What was the point of Jesus dying then?
Do you mean you still have to ask for forgiveness? You just didn't
You have
do
to
it.
accept, you have to
So let me get this right. Before believing in Jesus, they used to ask for forgiveness. After Jesus, they still ask for forgiveness.
But you
Nothing's
do
changed.
something to your parents and you
I've got
ask
to find my
forgiveness. That
friend.
doesn't mean
It
that
was
it's
lovely to
forgiven
talk to you.
Likewise, yeah. Sorry,
Take care.
I might have been harsh with you, but it was basically just so we could get the conversation
It's good.
going.
Get your heart pumping, you know.
What's your name?
Ben.
Ben? Hashim. Nice meeting you.
Take care.